Well, hello and welcome to our latest chat with Alex Radford from GetSpanishResidency.com and My Lawyer in Spain. And today we're going to be talking about the hot topic of visas and getting residency in Spain, and if indeed you need to do that. Before I introduce you formally to Alex, I just want to update you on some important news, which I'm sure everyone is aware of. As of yesterday, the 22nd of February, Boris Johnson has announced a roadmap for us to leave our lockdown situation, and hopefully that opens up the roads and the airways back to Spain. And because of that, we've got a tentative date now of the 17th of May, which being the earliest date which air travel can resume for Brits. In regards to travelling to Spain, that will very much depend upon what Spain does as well, and over the next few weeks, I'm sure that picture will become clearer in terms of what will be required for foreign visitors arriving in Spain, whether that's a vaccination passport or not, or clear COVID tests. So we're just awaiting that news. But as of now, we are opening our books for people to actually book their long-awaited viewing trips to come back to sunny Spain and start looking for a property. And we will keep you updated and send out more information with regards to that over the coming days too. But without further ado, I just want to introduce you to my good friend, Alex Radford, who will tell us a bit about what you do, Alex.
Well, hi, Paul. Thank you for the kind invite once again. Good to talk to you as always. So I'm an English solicitor and Spanish lawyer. My parents moved to Spain in '81, and I've been backwards and forwards between Spain and the UK since then, and back in Spain practicing as an English solicitor and Spanish lawyer since 2003. We act for clients buying, selling, and inheriting property all over Spain. And a few years back, we set up GetSpanishResidency.com to help people with the move from the UK and other places in the world to Spain, and to help with their residency and now the new visas that have come about as a result of Brexit.
And have you been getting lots of inquiries? Have been a lot more? I guess this is something that's becoming a lot more prevalent to UK buyers now. How has that been over the lockdown period for you?
Yeah, we had a very busy end to the year in 2020. Lots of Brits wanted to get in and buy property just before the UK left the EU and apply for residency at the same time. And then since the 1st of January, we've been helping people apply for the new visa. So it's a kind of either a non-lucrative visa or a golden visa. And those people that didn't apply for whatever reason for residency before the end of December 2020, we've helped them start the residency process now. So there's still time for them to do that. People who are in Spain legally before the end of December 2020, they can still apply for residency, but all new people coming out, there's a whole new process in place. And I'm afraid to say it's not as simple as it was last year.
Well, that's what I want to do today, is actually run through a few different scenarios of the different types of people that are interested to buy a home in Spain. And perhaps you can advise us on what visa would be required, and how does one go about obtaining that, and when should one start to get that ball rolling. So just a few different scenarios to fire at you, and we'll end up with the golden visa as well, and you can explain perhaps a little bit about how that works and who that might apply to. So let's start off with, let's say, a typical second home buyer, someone who wants to buy a holiday home in Spain. Off the peg, we've got up to 90 days stay every 180 days within the EU. So it's important that it's not just Spain, that's within the EU. So your 7-night holiday to France, that's coming off your allowance too. At the moment, all of these rules are always going to be subject to change, right? But at the moment, we can stay 90 days every 180 days. So let's say I'm buying a second home, but I want to stay longer than that. I want to stay for an extra few months, every 6 months. Not going to be working in Spain. Do I need a visa? if I do, which one?
Yeah. So actually, Paul, if you're buying a property for more than 500k, then you can apply for what's known as the golden visa. If you buy a property for less than 500k, then you apply for the non-lucrative visa. And in order to apply for either visa, you need an address in Spain. And so typically what people are doing is they're coming out to Spain, finding a property, buying that property, and then going back to their home country and applying for either visa. The golden visa you can apply for from Spain, and I'd recommend that they do that. So because if the golden visa is granted in Spain, it's granted for a 2-year period. Whereas if you go back to the UK and apply for it from the UK at the Spanish consul, then they'll only issue a visa for 1 year. Okay, so but just remember, 500k plus on a property purchase, then that's the golden visa, and then less than 500k, it's the non-lucrative visa. And the non-lucrative visa is probably going to be the most common visa that Brits will apply for. And yeah, you've got to have your property address, and you apply for that from the Spanish consul in the UK. We can help you with that process. Typically, you're going to need a private medical insurance in place, a clear criminal record certificate, and the main applicant will have to prove that they've got income or money in the bank of 27,115 euros. And then each dependent will need 6,778 euros.
Okay, so that could be either in a lump sum in a savings account. Does that account have to be? Can that be in the UK, or does that money have to be in Spain?
No, that money can be in the UK or it can be in Spain. Yeah.
Okay, and so either show that lump sum or the equivalent monthly amount. Would that be if it was, and prove that that's something that you're going to get permanently?
Correct. You basically what the Spanish authorities want to see is that you've got sufficient money to live on in Spain, to maintain your lifestyle, and also that you've got private medical insurance in place. So you apply for that visa. You've got each applicant has to apply in person. So we can help you with that application. You submit that to the Spanish consul. Once they grant that, you've got to go and collect that from the Spanish consul, and then you come to Spain. And then within 30 days of arriving in Spain, you've got to apply for the TIE card, which is the foreigner's identification card. And that is another process which you can have. So in effect, it's 2 stages: get the visa from the UK, come to Spain, and then apply for the TIE card, which is your residency visa. As I mentioned, the non-lucrative visa is for 1 year, and then that can be renewed when you're in Spain, and that gets renewed for 2-year periods. The bad news is when you apply for that renewal for 2 years, you've got to prove that you've got twice the amount of money that you had in your bank account as before, because they're giving you a visa for 2 years rather than 1 year. So 27,115 for the main applicant. That you'd have to double that if it was an individual person applying for a renewal of the non-lucrative visa in year 2.
Okay.
So and then the golden visa, the requirements are exactly the same on the income side. So 27,115 main applicant, 6,778 euros for each dependent, and you can apply for the golden visa either in the UK or Spain. And once you've got that, you come to Spain, or if you're not already in Spain, and then you apply for the TIE card. And we go through the same process there, in that we'd show the authorities here the visa and book an appointment at the local police station. Go along to the local police station with your photographic, with a colour photo of yourselves, drop off some fingerprints, fill out the form, and then you'd be called back for an appointment later to collect the card. And that TIE card is a good card. So it's a biometric identity card which you can use all over Spain, and it means you don't have to carry your passport around with you for identification purposes.
Okay. And with regards to renewing this non-lucrative visa, so you can either renew it for a year or 2 years at a time. Is that something you just have to do forever for the amount of time that you're in Spain, or after a certain amount of time, do you change over to like a permanent?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the non-lucrative visa always issued for 1 year to start with, and then year 1 you'd renew that. It's for a 2-year period, and when you get to 5 years, then you can apply for long-term residency. so you don't have to keep on renewing the that visa. The golden visa is the same. So you basically it's renewed every 2 years, and then you get to 5 years, and you can basically then apply for a long-term visa. And after 10 years, if you like, if you've been here for 10 years, you can take out Spanish. You can take out Spanish passport and change your passport for a Spanish passport. A lot of people, some people may be interested in that, others not. But just take a step back. The non-lucrative visa will only be renewed if you spend more than 180 days in Spain. Okay, and the golden visa, there's no time requirements on how much time you have to spend here. So it could be 1 day, it could be 100 days. But the most important thing to bear in mind, and something to plan before people actually come to Spain, is taxes and wealth taxes, and just have a think about who's going to own the property, who's paying for it, who's going to buy it, is it going to be used as a holiday home, or are we moving out to Spain? And generally, if you're moving out to Spain, I'd say buy it in your own names. If it's in a holiday home and you've got children over the age of 18, then it's not a bad idea to think about possibly buying it with the children on the title deed, because that can reduce inheritance tax in Spain and the UK.
It's good. I mean, it's always something we know with clients when I'm planning to bring people over to Spain before we start really getting into close to contracts and things like that, is that those conversations are had with the relevant people. Is that something that you're happy to have those conversations with clients? I know you've helped a lot of our clients over the years, and if I put someone in touch with you, you can talk to them about guide them with their visas, with their what their tax responsibilities are, and also, very importantly, to ensure they have a safe and straightforward buying process as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd encourage those conversations. We'd encourage clients who are looking to buy property in Spain to kind of contact us early on, so we can have a conversation about ownership, who's going to own, prepare the path for the visas, and also talk about who actually will end up owning that property, and then putting in place powers of attorney, opening bank accounts, and applying for NIEs. So yeah, all of those questions, Paul, it's good to have them up front, even before they've come out to review properties.
100%. Especially now, it's the ideal time, because now we can't go anywhere just yet. So if you're going to have those conversations, let's have them now, and get into ship shape and Bristol fashion ahead of the great stampede south, which is coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not before time. Okay, look, I digressed a little there, but that's great information, Alex. I'm going to come to the second scenario, and that is somebody who wants to buy a second home in Spain, but they're employed by a UK company or have their own business, and something which they can, and they want to work from perhaps their laptop from Spain, from sunny Spain, instead of their cold bedroom in the UK. So somebody want to work in Spain, live in Spain periodically, but trade outside of Spain.
Okay, so under the golden visa, if you buy a property for more than 500k, you can work in Spain. Mm-hmm. If you apply for the non-lucrative, officially you're not allowed to work in Spain.
Okay. Now, and this is where the grey area is, and I know we have to watch how that works and how that's interpreted, but certainly taking money in Spain with Spanish people is working in Spain, and it's a bit of a grey area about if you are in Spain on your laptop selling widgets on eBay in England. That's a bit of a grey area, it seems.
Yeah, I think it will be difficult for the Spanish authorities to prove that you were working in Spain or not. Depends how much time you do spend in Spain. But yeah, I think people have got to be very careful, and if they are planning to work, then let's look at maybe a work visa. So you can apply for a work visa. So if someone was planning to set up a business in Spain or work from Spain on a particular matter, then they can prepare a business plan, and they can submit that to the Spanish consul. We're working with firms of architects and economists to prepare those plans to kind of adapt them to the requirements that the Spanish consul like to see. So we can prepare those business plans for them, and you submit that in the UK to the Spanish consul. They approve the plan, and then they'll grant you the visa, and you come out of work. That's the official legal route.
Yeah,
of course, as lawyers in Spain, we would recommend it.
Of course. Well, moving on, let's have a look at the third scenario I've got for you. So essentially the same, but a full-time move to Spain. So would that just be the same? If you're going to come to Spain, and I guess that's the same rules, right? If you want to live in Spain full-time as opposed to periodically, but not work with a Spanish company, but work with your UK business. Same rules apply.
Exactly. So it's either non-lucrative visa or the golden visa, depending on the level of your investment. And what's interesting, Paul, is the golden visa law was introduced in 2013, and if you own a property after that date for more than €500,000, when they bought it, and it's worth more than €500,000, or you can prove that you've invested more than €500,000 in various properties, you could actually apply for the gold visa now. So that could be relevant to some of your past clients who already own properties in excess of $500K.
That's good. Yeah, I've heard of a few people starting that retrospectively recently. Okay, well, let's move on to number 4. This one's perhaps the trickiest of the ones I've got for you. So a family want to move to Spain, they want to put their kids in school, and they want to find work in Spain.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's difficult because, or it's more complicated, I say. Again, all 4 of them would have to apply for the non-lucrative visa or the golden visa if they're buying a property over 500K, then they're allowed to work. Under 500K, then in fact they apply for the non-lucrative visa, and then if they applied for a job here, the employer would have to prove kind of prove via the Office of Unemployment here that there were no other suitable candidates in the area available to carry out that work, and then they could possibly give the job to the UK applicant. But that's they're going to be at the end of a long line or a shorter line, depending on where and when they apply for that job.
That's going to be a tough one. What about if the family wants to come over, they wanted to start a business, for example, they wanted to start a motorbike rental business or something as such? How would that work?
Again, so they apply for they prepare the business plan, which we can help them with. They submit that to the Spanish consul. Once that business plan is approved, then they apply for visas, and then they can come out and set up the business. But this is whereas like last year, people could have come out and do that and do it quite spur of the moment sort of thing, or a little bit more spontaneously. Now you've got to put that business plan together, get it approved, and that could take anywhere between 3 to 6 or 8 months to get approval for the business plan. So it just delays things. And so I think I'm hoping that further down the line, these rules and requirements will be relaxed somewhat, because there are lots of Brits out here that come out to Spain who buy businesses here, and lots of those businesses will struggle to find buyers if the kind of taps are closed to the British market.
I think that's a really key point, is that the rules that we are dealing with now are the default out-the-box third country rules, right? So these haven't been designed for Brits or with Brits in mind. This is the same as it would be for someone from the States or from almost any country in the world. These are default rules. And we would perhaps hope or expect really at some point there to be some tailoring of these rules to the British market, which of course always has been and always will be perhaps the most important market to Spain or certainly foreign market to Spain for property and tourism.
Absolutely. So So yeah, as you know, more than 18 million Brits visited Spain in 2019. And the more people that visit the country, the more people want to buy property, move there, work there, set up in business, etc. So the British market is the strongest from the kind of from overseas property market is concerned. So yeah, I think hopefully when the restrictions lift somewhat with COVID and the governments can start to focus on other matters, they might start to look at this. At the moment they're very busy with dealing with COVID and thinking about vaccination passports, etc. So yeah, let's we're only 2 months into this new post-Brexit world.
Yeah, I think people have waited such a long time, and at least we have some rules to work with now. Okay, and there's some hoops that we got to jump through, and there's a whole lot more forms that need stamping. But we at least we know what we're dealing with now. That's the main thing, and people don't have to put their life on hold anymore. Perhaps more importantly, particularly what we've gone through, I think that's going to be the main driver of or it seems to be the main driver of people that we're talking to at the moment. So next one is a bit more standard for us. Someone that wants to come and retire to Spain. If we could look at, say, both under 65 early retirees and retirees. Is this non-lucrative as well? Just straightforward non-lucrative?
Yeah, it's again non-lucrative. So anyone looking to come to retire to Spain, they've got to prove that they've got that income. So we're active for numerous clients at the moment in the process of moving to Spain. Income for the main applicant, 27,115 euros. Second applicant, 6,778. And then yeah, so they take the visa. They come out to Spain, apply for the TIE card, and off they go. And then they renew that from Spain in year 2, at which point they need to prove that they've got 2 years of income available, which would be 47,451 euros, if my maths doesn't let me down.
Sounds good to me. Okay, thank you. I know we kind of touched upon it with the golden visa. Just once again, give me a rough view of how it works. Essentially, is $500,000 or more into real estate via cash, not via mortgage.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the golden visa, 500,000 euros plus into one or various properties. You could also deposit up to €1 million in a bank account. That would be okay. Or you could invest 2 million euros into Spanish public debt. Okay, and any of those will give you the golden visa. And yeah, if you apply for it from Spain, it's called, the actual official word for it is initial authorization for investor's residency. And then if you apply for it there in the UK or in another home country, it's called the residency visa for investors. And the one that you apply for here, it's for 2 years. One that you apply for in your home country is for 1 year, and you can work with that. And there's no minimum requirements, and it will just be automatically renewed so long as you can keep the investment up. And like the non-lucrative, if you're not here for 180 days, you can lose that non-lucrative visa. So the golden visa, you've got to keep the investment here, and you've got to prove that income, and obviously have private medical insurance, clear criminal record certificate, and yeah, any dependents have to be in the same situation.
Okay, and that also has some implications for travel outside of Spain, right? So the golden visa allows, am I right? So that allows you to travel to other Schengen countries.
Yeah, exactly. So either of those visas allows you to travel to the Schengen areas, and you can spend up to 3 months in those countries.
Okay, that's another thing. Well, I think that covers really all of the different scenarios. So I'm hoping that covers perhaps your scenario. But if you have something different, some more questions that you want to put to myself or to Alex, get in touch with us. I'm going to put the contact details on the video as well. Do get in touch. Get your ball rolling right now. Is what I would say. Let's start getting things checked off the list. Get clear on what you need in terms of visas. But also, if you're thinking about buying a property in Spain, there is some good prep work that you can do. But of course, I'm here to help you with all of your property requirements, advice on areas as well, and essentially pulling all that together for you. But a great resource such as Alex can certainly help you get all your ducks in a row prior to arriving onto the Costa Blanca in the not too distant future. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Alex?
Yeah, I think it's really important to say, Paul, that the buying costs have not changed. The process for buying hasn't changed. If you buy a property in Spain and you rent it out, then you've got to pay tax in Spain on that income. Last year the rate was 19%. This year it's 24%, and you can't deduct the costs of the rental. Management, cleaning, insurance, water, electric, etc. But the buying costs and the process are exactly the same. So that hasn't changed with Brexit. The only issue that really has changed is that tax matter I mentioned and the visa situation.
Great, and it's always great to get this advice off you. And no doubt we'll be speaking again soon. I'm gonna pick your brains on other legal aspects as well, and what you can do for our guys in terms of your tax services and conveyancing as well. As always, thank you so much, Alex, and no doubt we will speak very soon.
Thank you very much, Paul. My pleasure.